What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Color Cup running Shadow Ho-Oh with Sacred Fire, a move that was obtainable through the use of regular charged EMs for the first time yesterday during the raid day, which I actually think is a great event bonus. Now I realise this bonus probably only came to be because you actually still had to TM away frustration from any of the raid caught Shadow Ho-Oh during the event, but as someone with literally zero elite charged EMs at the moment, I was definitely going to take advantage of it and use it for my Great League Shadow Ho-Oh. Now unfortunately, with the recent introduction of Shadow Palkia to the Color Cup, Incinerate users are a little bit more risky to use, but most of the Shadow Palkia are utilized in the lead anyways, and I do have Shadow Charizard with Dragon Breath in that safe swap position to bait out any of Shadow Ho-Oh's hardest counters and hopefully allow Shadow Ho-Oh to sweep in the endgame. Now quickly, before we get into the question of the day, I want to give a quick shout out to both Rob and Arctic Cat for their gifted memberships in my recent live stream. As always, I very much appreciate the support, and with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. Do you think we need another move pool overhaul where certain legacy moves are reintroduced into a Pokemon's permanent move pool, and if so, which legacy moves should be permanently accessible? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so go into the first battle, leading Shadow Manectric into Shadow Palkia. Now, I actually didn't realize until this battle, but Shadow Manectric is more often than not gonna win CMP in this matchup, which is very nice because we go straight for Psychic Fangs, grab a shield advantage, and at this point, I'm happy with that. We can let the Manectric go down. Honestly, no point shielding there because they would just be able to Dragon Breath farm me down, but now we can come in with the Shadow Charizard, and with a shield advantage, that's gonna be very useful because a lot of Shadow Palkia do have a Toxapex in the back now. Of course, we go straight for the Blast Burn. Blast Burn is resisted, but it grabs a shield anyways. Honestly, I'm not really sure why they shielded that, but I'm definitely going to just let the Charizard go down. We've got two shields and a Shadow Ho-Oh. This thing is absolutely going to go to town right now. We can just safely shield up the Brine. I am expecting the opponent to try and make an intricate play here. Maybe try and catch a charge move here. They swap into their Jump Bluff, but it just does not matter. We can overfarm, farm to 100 energy, fire off the Sacred Fire, easily getting the one shot. One more Incinerate allows us to reach a Brave Bird, and of course Brave Bird easily takes out the Toxapex from that range, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top end there, you can see the insane closing power of Shadow Ho-Oh when you do get shields down. We're now going to see a Morpeko in the lead. Now this is a bit of a core breaker, of course. Going to resist all the moves we throw with our Shadow Manectric, and as well going to deal super effective damage up against my backline. So what I'm going to do here is full send the Wild Charge. Psychic Fangs is very risky as it is double resisted. We're now going to swap, but because we swap as the opponent throws the charge move there, we get a full Incinerate in for free. Now that's great for me because actually they stay in for one more Incinerate, put themselves into range where we can just farm down the Morpeko with any Pokemon in the end game. We're now going to go for a bait with the Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire is actually going to be no-shielded by the opponent, which is unfortunate, but it still does huge damage, and Fly actually doesn't quite take us out there. I did not expect that. But it puts them into range where we can just come in with the Shadow Charizard and snipe with a single Dragon Breath. So we're going to do exactly that. Dragon Breath gets the KO there. They come back in just to be farmed down by the Dragon Breath with their Morpeko, and they've got Serperior in the back, so they're just going to concede the match. So GG's top end there. Into next battle, we see a Ferrothorn in the lead. So I'm going to say swap straight away into my Shadow Charizard, and we bait out a Toxapex, which is exactly what we want from the Shadow Charizard safe swap. Again, I'm going to go for the Blast Burn. It's resisted damage, but it's still going to do decent damage in this matchup. At this point, I'm happy to, of course, get them pretty much into range where we can just go for a Thunderfang farm down. However, I'm hoping I can get that farm down before they do reach a Brine. So we come in with Manectric, and unfortunately, they do just barely get there to the next charge move. Brine will do big damage. I'm going to swap straight away. Actually, no, never mind. I do at least bank a Psychic Fangs, but it just doesn't matter as the opponent has Decidueye in the back. They're going to be completely farmed down by the Incinerate damage from the Shadow Ho-Oh, so they just concede the match. So GG's top end there. Into next battle, we see Charge Bug in the lead. Another core breaker for the team. I'm not going to throw straight away here. It's a lot more risky for me to throw straight away just because if we throw on alignment and they don't throw on the CMP tie there, they get a full Volt Switch in for free. We're now going to go for a Psychic Fangs here. I'm going to go for one Thunder Fang, then wait a turn, swap, and catch the charge move, catching a double resisted Exeter, but not only that, also getting the Incinerate in there, which means I will actually reach a Brave Bird up against the Shadow Kingdra, grabbing the shield from the opponent, and they can Dragon Breath farm me down after I've debuffed my defense. So actually they don't get a huge farm down, but still they do come out with a lot of energy. They're going to fire for Noctiluca straight away. If they don't get the debuff here, I should be able to commit to a full Dragon Breath farm down, and they don't get that debuff, which is huge for me, but they come in with a Gastrodon. They swap, they try to catch a charge move onto the Charger Bug. It backfires. We're now going to full send the Blast Burn once again. They end up shielding and actually stay in here because I thought the opponent might try and overfarm here, but no, they go straight for Body Slam. I need to be 4 away from the Wild Charge, and I'm just barely not able to get there in time. Wild Charge would be resisted, but I still feel like it would get the KO from that range. However, unfortunately, they just barely outpace me to the Body Slam. Body Slam gets the KO, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's up there into the next battle. We see a Talonflame in the lead, so great lead for us. However, the opponent swaps into a Credilli, and this is a huge core breaker for the team. I'm just going to stay in because I am ahead on energy, and actually at this point, I'm just going to no-shield this. The opponent goes for a Grass Knot, so I possibly could have tried to catch that. However, I thought that was way too risky because, of course, they could just go for a Rock Slide there. Rock Slide would very nearly take us out anyways on the Manectric, so I probably would have needed to shield anyways. But either way, we get the 1 shield farm down with the Shadow Charizard, and let's see, the opponent comes back in, and they try to catch a Dragon Claw there, I believe. But now we can bank all of that energy, come in with the Shadow Hoe. I have to shield, respect a Thunder. I mean, technically, I could still live that, but I'm going to shield anyways, and we get the full Incinerate farm down, coming out with nearly 100 energy here. We're going to go straight for the Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire, gonna be shielded. We don't get the debuff once again, and I don't even know what the potential debuffing chance is for Sacred Fire, but I felt like I barely ever got the debuff. But at this point, the opponent no shields the Brave Bird. We're able to get the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So let me know in the comments what the actual chances for a debuff with Sacred Fire are. I don't think I was very lucky with it, but maybe it's just not very high odds. But either way, we catch the energy bill onto the Shadow Charizard, and once again, baiting out a Toxapex, which is perfect for us. This time, the opponent is able to swap out straight away, so I'm actually not going to reach a Blast Burn before the opponent reaches a potential Brine. And actually, because I go for Dragon Claw, I can go for a second Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will put them into range where just a Psychic Fangs should now be enough damage from the Shadow Manectric, so we're throwing it straight away on the CMP tie. Psychic Fangs is going to be shielded by the opponent. I think they will reach back-to-back brines, but I'm going to play it safe anyways. If they go for a Sludge Wave, that would do huge damage, so now I will let the brine go through. We've seen this already. We can live a brine fairly comfortably. Well, not that comfortably actually, but we can live it, so I don't have to use my shield there. And then the opponent makes a huge mistake swapping into their Jumpluff, basically just a I swap, you swap kind of thing, and unfortunately for them, we're going to go for a full Incinerate farm down, shield up the second Aerial Ace, as I'm not sure if an Aerial Ace would do more damage than a Body Slam. However, we're going to go straight for Sacred Fire. Sacred Fire does actually drop their attack this time around, and that might be huge for me. We go for the Brave Bird. Brave Bird doesn't quite get the KO there. I mean, I did not need to make this catch here. If they are at back-to-back charge moves, then that honestly would not be great for me. Or even if they were 1 away, that could have been worse for me, as they would have reached 2 Body Slams there. But luckily for me, they weren't, and I'm able to catch the Body Slam, go for the Incinerate farm down, and I'm able to take that game. So, of course, GG's to up over there into the next battle, another Charger Bug. So I'm going to play this out exactly the same as last time. Shield up the X-Scissor, except this time they come in with a Credilli, and this is just really not good for me whatsoever. I'm going to fire off the Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs is going to be no-shielded. It doesn't do much damage. I'm now going to fire off a second Psychic Fangs here. The opponent, again, no-shielding, and I'm hoping I've put them into range where I can just come in with the Shadow Ho-Oh. They are double debuff. Maybe we can go for an Incinerate farm down here, but it's going to be very close. So we come in with the Ho-Oh, we actually barely don't get it, so I have to swap, and luckily for me, I get the Dragon Breath Snipe before they're able to fire off a Rock Slide. They come back in with the Charger Bug, although it's not looking too good for us right now. We're going to go and fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw going to be no-shielded, and at this point I'm thinking it's very clear they have a second very strong answer to Shadow Ho-Oh in the back, and there it is. It's an XL Elite, which is really cool to see. However, not so cool for my Shadow Ho-Oh, because unfortunately Ancient Power is for double super effective, easily gets the one-shot, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG stuff over there into the next battle, another Shadow Palkia in the lead. So this might be one of the earlier battles. Nope, never mind. I was going to say, in one of the earlier battles, I did overfarm, not expecting to win CMP, but actually we're able to snipe there with the Shadow Charizard before they can react. Huge for us because we just waste all of their energy, and we grab that shield advantage anyways, and then we bait out the Toxapex as well, which is very nice. Again, going for the Blast Burn. This time they do no shield this. and I actually put them into range where I can just go straight for a Dragon Claw and get the KO. So that's what we're going to go for here. We're going to put ourselves into range where they can't really farm much with whatever Pokemon comes in, but they come in with a Talonflame. Now things are looking slightly tricky for us. Shadow Ho-Oh, not the bulkiest Pokemon ever. I'm going to need to make a catch onto my Shadow Manectric, but it's very hard to maybe guess when they're going to throw the next charge move. So we're going to throw the Sacred Fire straight away, fishing for the debuff here. Sacred Fire, gonna be shielded, and it does not get the debuff, but I'm able to make the catch there, swapping into my Shadow Manectric. Fly is going to get the KO there, and now we can go for a Brave Bird on what looks to be a CMP tie, but Brave Bird, of course, winning CMP, getting the KO, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG top on there, into next battle, we're going to see Shadow Manectric into a Shadow Golem. So, of course, our backline definitely does not want to see this, and as well, I mean, it's not really ideal for the Shadow Manectric either, as of course, we are hitting for resisted damage with the Thunder Fangs. I'm going to shield once, and I'm hoping by the time I throw a Psychic Fangs, I've pretty much put them into range where we can just Dragon Breath, farm them down with the Shadow Charizard, and that looks to be the case. So at this point, I'm going to no-shield this. Rock Blast gets the KO there. We are going to take 2 rollouts, and that gets us nearly into the red health range already. They then come in with an Astonish Amoonguss, which is not ideal for us. I do think there's going to be another grass type in the back. However, Astonish is doing big damage here. We have grabbed the final shield, but I need to commit to a full Incinerate farm down here. The opponent fires off the Sludge Bomb. They then swap, they bank the energy, and they're going to come in with a Jump Off. Now, I overfarm here. I didn't really need to do that. Sacred Fire gets the KO there. They come back in with the Amoonguss, but they've got another charge move already loaded. Sludge Bomb actually doesn't get the KO there. I think the opponent should have gone for one extra Astonish first, because they could throw a full 3-turn fast move, then fire off a charge move as well, and get there before the Incinerate damage registers. That would have taken us out there, but then it would have just been a guessing game on whether the opponent actually did reach before we got a Dragon Breath farm down, or whether they got an Astonish farm down up against our Charizard. But anyways, into the next battle here, and that's really frustrating, and I think you've only seen it in this battle, but I had so many instances throughout the past week where I've been running a Dragon Breath user, and I've come in, I've gone for the Dragon Breath farm down where they're in one Dragon Breath farm down range, and they've got damage registration error and made it to a charge move, which is really frustrating. But we go for the Blast Burn there. Unfortunately for us, they've got a Toxapex in the back. It's not looking too good for us. I'm going to go for the Sacred Fire here, once again, fishing for a debuff. They actually no-shield that. And honestly, if they let that go through and it was a Brave Bird, I might have been able to win this game. But unfortunately for me, I go for the Sacred Fire bait there. It does not work out for me in the slightest. We don't even get the debuff either. Brian gets the KO. They can just Poison Jab, farm down the Charizard, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's top on there, into next battle, we see a Talonflame in the lead. So we are going to see the opponent's going to Safe Swap into Shadow Kingdra, or sorry, a regular Kingdra. I'm going to build up to the Wild Charge, then bait with the Psychic Fangs. Honestly, I probably should have just gone straight for a Psychic Fangs and then swapped into my Charizard there, because now I've allowed them to make it to a charge move. The opponent goes for Octazooka, and they do get the debuff there. It took a while to show up there, so I wasn't actually sure. But here, I'm going to make a sort of a mistake there. I threw on CMP. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to throw one turn earlier, but actually they do throw straight away, so that's fine with me. Of course, the Blast Burn doesn't quite get the KO as we were debuffed, but now we can come in with the Shadow Ho-Oh, go for the Incinerate farm down, but they've got a Gastrodon in the back, so this is a little bit tricky for us. We're both hitting full resisted fast move pressure here. I'm going to shield the first charge move, and again, I'm going to go and bait with a Sacred Fire. The reason I'm going for Sacred Fire here is because, of course, I don't want to debuff myself here. The opponent goes for the Body Slam. We're now going to have to fire off the Sacred Fire, throwing straight away. Not on good timing, because unfortunately we're at 100 energy, but they do end up shielding. We can now full send the Brave Bird. Brave Bird will, of course, get the KO there, and then I can swap into my Manectric, Thunderfang, farm down the Talonflame, and I'm able to take that game. So, GG's top in there, into next battle, see Shadow Abomasnow in the lead, and again baiting out a Poison Jab water user, but this time it's actually going to be a Shadow Tentacruel. So I can live the Acid Spray, so I'm going to no-shield this, go for one more Dragon Breath, fire off the Blast Burn, and honestly Blast Burn might get the KO, so we grab a shield from the opponent, which is very nice. Now, we're going to wait out a switch clock here, then come back in with the Shadow Manectric. I'm hoping, once again, to get the full Thunderfang farm down, but once again, they do just barely make it to a charge move. It's just going to be another Acid Spray, so I will no shield. I'm also going to swap out into my Shadow Ho-Oh after they come in with the Abomasnow, and again, there's going to be a Gastrodon in the back. So again, a little bit awkward for us, but we do have a shield advantage. However, they do, of course, have a a Bomber Snow in the back, which does have a lot of energy. Well, not a lot, but they are very close to a charge move. So we go for a Sacred Fire there. Sacred Fire is going to be shielded, and at this point, I'm thinking, well, Body Slam's going to do less damage than a Weather Ball, so I'm actually going to no-shield this, but I'm going to go for a Brave Bird. Brave Bird is going to debuff my defense, so I have to swap back into Shadow Manectric. We're going straight for the Psychic Fangs here. Psychic Fangs, not going to do that much damage there, but it's going to debuff their defense. The opponent goes for the Powder Snow farm down. They should commit to a full Powder Snow farm down here, but they realize they're actually not going to get that farm down, so they fire off the charge move. But unfortunately for them, Incinerate does register. It takes out the Bomber Snow, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's top in there into next battle, another Shadow Palkia in the lead, and again going straight for Psychic Fangs here. Shadow Palkia does win CMP up against most Pokemon in this meta, well, pretty much everything aside from Shadow Manectric apparently. So we're going to see Aquatail coming through. We've grabbed the shield advantage. We come in with the Shadow Charizard, but this time they actually come in with a Alolan Marowak, so this is absolutely fine with me, especially since they're going straight for a Bone Club. So I'm going to no-shield this. Bone Club, not going to do too much damage there, and then I'm thinking, again, Blast Burn will be enough damage to get the KO here. Blast Burn is no shielded, but they've actually got an ABA double Shadow, Water, and Dragon backline here. Well, front and backline there, I guess. And unfortunately for me, it has not worked out very well. I realized once they landed, once they landed the Bone Club, I was thinking, actually, maybe they threw this deliberately just to get off guaranteed damage and put me into farm down range. But unfortunately, by the time I recognized that, it was too late. So GG's, very well played there. Nice strategy. And unfortunately for me, we're going to see a Rock Throw Macargo. Then the opponent that makes a great catch there, catching onto Decidueye. However, because we debuffed them, I'm able to go for a full farm down, come out just barely getting to a Brave Bird. Brave Bird, despite being resisted, does grab a shield there. We're going to come back in with the Shadow Manectric, and hopefully we can at least put them to farm down range for the Shadow Charizard. The opponent chooses not to throw any energy. They're now going to fire for Charge Move. They're, of course, going to debuff me with a Rock Tomb. However, I'm still going to be able to go for a Dragon Breath farm down. And let's see what they've got in the back. It's going to be Ferrothorn, and despite being debuffed, it doesn't make a difference here. We're going straight for the Blast Burn. Blast Burn is going to be no-shielded by the opponent. They called the bait there. Honestly, that was a very iffy end game there. If they did shield that up, and if they baited with a Power Whip, I think they might have been able to win there. But luckily for me, it works out. And into the next battle, we're going to see the opponent say swaps into Charger Bug. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a great response yet. So what I'm going to do, go for a Psychic Fangs here, then again swap, catch the Charge Move, and get the Incinerate in as we swap out there, catching the double assisted Exeter, but then I make a huge mistake here. First of all, I wait a turn, so I end up giving them a free Water Shuriken in anyways, which is a mistake, but also because I debuff my defense, they can go for a full Water Shuriken farm down. What I should have done instead is just commit to a Sacred Fire and force the opponent to throw their energy straight away, because now I've grabbed the shield advantage, but I'm going to have to use both my shields just to protect myself from these Hydro Cannons, which is definitely not ideal. The opponent goes for Hydro Cannon number 2 before swapping into Morpeko, and this is not very good for us at all. I'm going to swap into my Shadow Charizard, catching the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel hits for super effective damage. It easily one-shots us, but I go straight for a Wild Charge here. The opponent expects the bait, and we full-on nuke them. I'm able to go for a full Thunderfang farm down there, taking out Greninja, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.